Did you ever have the feeling that you left your body by will or by accident? People who had a so-called out-of-body experience describe it as deeply touching and life-changing. But what exactly is an etheric projection, and what is the difference to an astral projection? In this video, we will give you 5 important criteria to determine whether you have an out-of-body experience. Enjoy! Brotherhood of the Eternal Light. Teaching the Western Mysteries. The Etheric Plane, Part 2. Out-of-body experiences. Projection of the etheric body and the 5 most important differences to astral travel or astral projection. In this video, we deal with a very fascinating topic, out-of-body experiences, also called OBE or OOBE. Many people have already had such extraordinary experiences and are deeply touched by them, because out-of-body experiences allow us to experience ourselves separated from our physical body, and often so quite consciously. The experience of seeing one's own body from outside for the first time can change one's life strongly. After this mind-expanding experience, many people turn towards spiritual matters for the first time in their lives, and therefore enrich their lives. Others, longing to experience an OBE, are trying hard for weeks, months, or even years every single night. But what exactly are out-of-body experiences? What is really behind it all? And why is the knowledge about the different bodies necessary for a student of the mysteries? In the Kabbalah and the Western mysteries, we need not only profound and comprehensive knowledge of the material plane, but also of the etheric, astral, mental, and spiritual plane of existence, which are symbolized in the Kabbalistic tree of life. Each plane holds different principles which the student of the mysteries must know in order to perfect his soul and move safely within each plane. This understanding is also necessary for practical work in order to achieve the desired results. The knowledge about the etheric and astral body is therefore a part of the mysteries. Etheric body and astral body. Let us start by taking up a common misconception about out-of-body experiences, namely the frequent confusion of etheric body and astral body. You will also learn how to distinguish between both bodies. OBE are projections of the etheric body. Out-of-body experiences are emanations or projections of the etheric body. That means they take place on the etheric plane. For details about the etheric plane, please have a look at our video, link in the description. Meditation, dreams, etc. are projections of the astral body. The counterpart to out-of-body experiences are, for example, meditations and dreams. These take place on the astral plane and are projections of the astral body. How the confusion came about. Originally, this common confusion of out-of-body experience and astral projection, or astral journey, is, amongst other things, coming from the book The Projection of the Astral Body, written by Sylvan Muldoon and Hereward Carrington, first published in 1929. The book is about the out-of-body experiences Sylvan Muldoon experienced himself, which were projections of the etheric body, but not of the astral body. Unfortunately, neither author had magical or Kabbalistic training, and so this inaccurate title occurred. Since it was pretty much the first well-known non-esoteric book on the subject, this wrong term unfortunately became established with many people. We are very familiar with astral projections, even though we mostly call them differently. Dreams are the most frequent kind of astral projection. They occur naturally when we sleep. In the Zohar, a fundamental Kabbalistic work, this phenomenon is described in more detail. The purer the astral soul is, it is equated with the astral body, the higher levels of existence it can explore in sleep, and thus connect with its higher soul. If, on the other hand, it is not pure, then it is only wandering around in the astral plane. Watch our video on the 4 planes to learn more, link in the description. Dreams can be unconscious, semi-conscious, or fully conscious, that is lucid, astral projections. The moment we wake up, our astral body automatically returns back to the location of our physical body. Astral projections can also be consciously done when being awake, for example in meditations in which you visualize an environment and act within it. This includes our meditation on the inner temple, where we can explore our soul. Even intense daydreams can be astral projections. What is an etheric projection or out-of-body experience? An out-of-body experience can happen spontaneously, for example during a fall, at certain fun fair rides on the fair or amusement park, or even from sleep. It occurs when the etheric body, which is normally congruent with the physical body, moves away from the physical body for a moment. This can cause short-term disorientation, dizziness, or even nausea. You literally stand beside yourself. An etheric projection out of sleep seems to be the most common case. Apparently, it often precedes an astral projection, but most commonly remains unconscious. So we can see that etheric projections can also be unconscious, semi-conscious, or fully conscious, and you can learn to actively cause them, that is, induce them. When we consciously experience an etheric projection out of sleep, then we consciously perceive our surroundings, that is, our bed and bedroom, and very often, but not always, we also perceive our physical body lying in bed. Usually, people get so frightened that they find themselves quickly back in their physical body. Incidentally, this is a very good criterion for distinguishing whether an experience is an out-of-body experience, that is, an etheric projection, or an astral projection, that is a dream. Because, confusingly enough, you can also dream an out-of-body experience. This brings us to an interesting question. How can we discern between etheric and astral projections? Here are the 5 most important criteria for differentiation. First criterion: if it is difficult to remain outside the physical body for a while, then it is an OBE. If it is easy, then it is an astral projection. For a while, this could be a few seconds only, or more. This depends on how much experience or practice someone has. A sleep-induced astral projection, that is a dream, can be maintained for a very long time because that is easy. However, lucid dreams are often an exception. To distinguish an OBE from a lucid dream, use criterion number 3. For further information about lucid dreaming, we will upload another video. You will find the link in the description. In an out-of-body experience, the etheric body is temporarily detached from the physical body. Often one reads or hears that the etheric body remains connected to the physical body by means of a silver cord. This silver cord is perceived by some, but not all people during an OBE. It may therefore be a possible criterion for distinguishing the etheric and astral body, but unfortunately, it is not a reliable criterion. By the way, the fear that you cannot return to your physical body after an out-of-body experience is not justified. The etheric body and the physical body remain connected for as long as a human being lives. It is the etheric body that gives the physical body its vital energy and connects it with its soul. The etheric body is therefore often experienced as energy or as electrical, as it is the carrier of our life energy. It is usually felt as vibrations, waves, or oscillations, and that can be frightening the first time. But it is quite natural and often a sign of a beginning out-of-body experience. So, this is our criterion number 2. When you feel the vibrations, you often consciously perceive the so-called sleep paralysis, which prevents sleepwalking. This too can be frightening when you first experience it. Often in an out-of-body experience, the external environment is also perceived as very energetic or electrical, but that is not always the case. what does one perceive in an out-of-body experience? In an OBE or etheric projection, one perceives the current location of the physical body, for the etheric plane is a subtle part of the material plane, Malchut. So this is our third important criterion. On the other hand, when the environment changes easily and transforms or changes seamlessly, it is an astral projection. For the astral plane, which corresponds to Yesod, is mutable and changeable. You can learn more about the astral plane in our videos on Yesod and Malchut. Please find the link in the description. In an OBE, one often floats over the bed and sees one's own physical body, an experience which, unfortunately, is often enough to send you back right into your physical body and thus to wakefulness. Sometimes you can see the room as well, usually as you know it from physical reality, with the current lighting conditions. That means it is dark at night. Sometimes you perceive the room a bit distorted, which results from the unfamiliar way of perception. For example, the etheric body does not follow the laws of gravity, which can cause quite a scare when the floor, including the furniture or drawers, are, for example, suddenly on the ceiling. You can also fly out through the closed window and visit a nearby garden or street. These too usually look exactly as we know them from our physical perception. This is therefore another criterion for the distinction between etheric and astral projection. At the same time, when flying through the window or through a wall, the out-of-body experience may turn into an astral projection or a dream. That means the consciousness then changes into the astral body. Whether you remember the previous out-of-body experience and/or dream depends on your own awareness and ability to remember. Of course, you can train and develop these skills. When such a change happens, one should carefully examine, based on the criteria, whether the previous scenarios were really an out-of-body experience or a dreamed OBE. The number 4 criterion for differentiation is the ability to move. In an etheric projection, that is, an out-of-body experience, it is sometimes difficult to move in a controlled manner or even to move at all. You often have to learn it first, and it may initially be a bit awkward. In a dream or astral projection, however, movement is usually not an issue at all. It is as easy and fluid as in the physical body during wakefulness, or even much easier. You can often fly or run very fast, etc. Criterion number 5 is the awareness of our current life circumstances. In an out-of-body experience, we usually know things like our name and place of residence, as well as current events, etc. However, usually not so in a dream. Lucid dreams can be an exception here. The shortest criterion of differentiation is most likely this one. If you are not sure whether you are dealing with the etheric or the astral body, then it is the astral body. If you'd like to learn more about the etheric body, etheric energy and out-of-body experiences, then click the link in the description. If you enjoy our videos, then like and share them. Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what you like and want to learn more about, and subscribe to our channel to see every new video right away. See you!